Well guys, cool thing with this load of mulch, we're got a crew working here.
Yeah.
Remulching the garden stuff, and this is the third, let me see, baby 5-line skink that we found in here so far. That is cute. What colors, and what a cute little size. So I don't know, I don't mind bringing those home for the garden, do we, Bugger?
Yeah.
What do they help with?
They
eat bugs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so good little garden friends for us, part of our organic pest control posse. Whoa!
Then I gotta show Mom.
We can show Mom. Cute little guy. Alright guys, Papa Pepper back here once again at the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I am shooting this video a second time. My Canon Rebel T7i. You guys, if any of you guys from Canon ever see this, make it so that if your battery gets down to almost nothing, it auto saves the file rather than shutting off and just losing the whole file. Because I just shot probably 12 minutes of video that I now have to reshoot the whole thing, but that's okay. It's worth it to share with you guys. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking a little bit about some of the volunteer plants that we have on our homestead. We like to save our own seeds. We like to kind of have that level of self-sufficiency that anything we like, we're able to replant. And the cool thing is that as my life gets carried away, I do not get to start all the different kinds of plants that I would like to grow every year. I just don't. Maybe as my children get older and need a little less investment of my time and effort, and as they kind of gain some more skills, maybe they'll be able to help with that more. But even if they don't, volunteer plants make up for some of this. So I'm just gonna go around and show you guys a couple of these really cool plants that I did not plant this year, but yet here they are doing well for our family and helping to feed us. Check this out. The first one here, we actually had chamomile growing around the base of this tree last year. So chamomile we like to use as an evening kind of sleepy time tea. I think you can make tinctures out of it too. There's a number of these growing right now and then going to seed as well, or flower and then seed. So I might just save these this year to up our seed supply and then be able to hopefully plant some next year. But it's so cool that without really trying myself this year, this plant shows up to bless us, and now we've got some. Another one, we like to incorporate the wild stuff into our property as often as we can. If you see all these ones climbing over this, and up that trellis, and up that trellis, and over here I just made a special trellis. I mean, look at this thing all coming in. If you don't recognize it yet, this may help. Okay. This is a passion fruit. This is the passion flower, but the plant is a passion fruit. We like them. They're like one of the wild edibles that we appreciate the most. I kind of call them the fruit snacks of the forest. But they're sprouting up in different areas because everything you see here used to just be wild, thick, crazy woods. And we're still trying to fight back some of that and turn into things that work better for us. But as we do, and we start getting these volunteers, we like to incorporate them into things. You know, here I have a stepping stones pathway that we can use to walk on. So these guys aren't really in too much danger, and as they get longer, just like those, we'll be able to bend them up and let them climb up these trellises, and then they will be making the fruit snacks of the forest for us. That's what I like to call them. There's just so many of them here. Some people do kind of consider them more invasive almost, but we like to incorporate them into our landscape and into our garden. And as I kind of have these raised beds that I put in last winter in front of the poultry area, they're certainly free to climb on some of this stuff. That trellis back there I actually made specifically for them because of where they were coming up. So then as I filled these raised beds last winter, I was using some of my own soil from my garden. Because it was some of the soil from my garden, and because we save our own seeds, some of the seeds fall to the ground. This here is a common wild edible, a weed many people may recognize, but it's purslane. So there's an amount of purslane in here. Some people would consider it a superfood. It's like a real food. It's just highly nutritious, amazing stuff. And happy to just see it showing up here on its own. You know, if I'm gonna have something taller like pepper plants growing in a bed like this, I don't mind if that goes to seed, reseeds itself, and if we just have a ground cover of purslane blocking out the less desirable weeds, able to use that and eat that. And then grow food, of course, above it as well. Also here, we have toothache plant. So these leaves you can eat, and then the flowers, which there's one right there, another one back over there. Absolutely wonderful. When we ran an Etsy shop for a while, a lot of people really liked them. You can let those flowers get fully mature and just crumple them up, and there's like tiny little pieces of black rice looking stuff in there almost. That's the seeds. So as I moved the soil here, obviously it had some seeds in it, was able to disturb it a bit, get them planted, and now I'll have all these toothache plants that I did not grow this year, didn't plant them, but we're going to be able to use them and have them bless us as well. And then same thing here with this catnip. That catnip came up on its own. So as I was planting through this, I was just trying to, you know, incorporate that into my game plan. Taking a note of these volunteers like the catnip, the passionfruit, the toothache plant, and the purslane, and then just kind of plant around, plant with, work together with it. And some absolutely wonderful plants. I don't have cats, but I do like making an evening tea with catnip. Very relaxing. Enjoy that stuff. Toothache plant. If we get to the, you know, day and age where dentists are harder to get to, or, you know, you want to stay clear of medication, a good way just to kind of self-medicate with a little bit of pain relief. And then purslane is a wonderful, wonderful food there. So we'll take one last look at this passion fruit flower, and then we will go check out some other ones. So as we head up here to the main area of the garden, we've got things like volunteer sunflowers that are growing, ones that just happen to reseed themselves. Anytime we can incorporate stuff like that into our gardening plan, I absolutely love it, and I prefer to do so. Same thing with that 8-footer back there. That's a volunteer. The best garden plant that I did not plant last year is this guy here on my feet, and this is the Malabar spinach. Pretty much everything on this side of the rock I'm going to keep. All this stuff I'll be lifting and giving to other people. These guys are absolutely amazing, raw or cooked, fresh or frozen. I'm just going to grow some up this trellis after these peas finish up. But I didn't plant this last year. I didn't plant it this year. It's one of those volunteers that is going to feed my family with nutrient-rich, you know, healthy food all summer long that I did not have to plant. Absolutely love it. And what a low effort plant too, because all I'm going to have to do is harvest it. I didn't plant it. I'm not really going to take care of it. It's just going to grow here, do its thing, and anytime I want some, we'll be able to enjoy it. A couple more volunteers of these birdhouse gourds. Here's one here. It's a little harder to work in because it's growing from over here, and I'm going to run it up that trellis. This one's a little easier. It's farther off the pathway, but a nice one that we did not plant this year, that I was focusing more on the edible gourds this year. So to have some birdhouse gourds, just volunteer, perfectly fine with that. One of my projects today is to continue to remulch the pathways here. You can see where it's not remulched and where it is. And where it's not, there was a whole bunch more green stuff, a whole bunch of weeds coming through. All this is catnip that I'll be lifting and sharing. As we head up this way, there is also baby toothache plants. So as I was weeding, anything that was useful or beneficial, I skipped over, and I'm going to come in here and scoop those out, put them in some little pots, and then be able to share with friends. Wow, I haven't seen one of those in a while. Oops. So another one that was pretty cool is as I grow these muscadine grapes here and they get established, I'll run things like these peas up them first. The peas, this one's younger down underneath here, the muscadine. But the peas can get up and do their thing, and then later the muscadines can grow up and take it over. Here, you know, we've got so many grapes coming in. As you look through some of this, they're just everywhere in here. And these plants are getting established rather well. Last year, I would just plant one tomato on each end of this trellis and let them grow towards the middle, and then we did some companion planting with different types of basil. So this is the Thai basil here. All these volunteered on their own. I did not plant any basil this year. I wish I did. Thankfully I didn't have to. So it's all growing in here, and I'll be lifting it to companion plant with where we're growing our tomatoes this year. More toothache plant volunteers there. Here you do see as well some tomato volunteers. So that's pretty cool. This area I've still got to weed through, and if you don't keep it mulched enough, you know, we get some stuff going on. But up here is some more volunteers we had, which is cilantro. So this cilantro grew on its own. This stuff right now is flowering, and then it is going to seed as well. So the seeds of cilantro are called coriander. People use them in soup, stews, sausages, different stuff like that. We lifted a bunch out of here and gave them to some friends, and we ate some too. But now we're getting a free seed supply as well from this volunteer cilantro. So very excited about that. And then up here we also have some volunteer dill, which is pretty impressive. I mean, that's a big dill head. And we didn't plant this here, it just kind of came on its own. And these passion flowers as well. They're a little nibbled up, but they should still make fruit. So for us, the moral of this story, I guess, is it's best to save your own seeds. But when you do, you get volunteers if you let plants mature that much that they're actually going to seed. I got a video coming up about seeds, which hopefully will be helpful and inspirational to some of you guys. At least provide some stuff to think about, because I think it's very important that we reach that level of self-sufficiency. If you're going to garden, you really should be saving your own seeds. Here, all that extra stuff, if anyone else, you know, in my area finds it useful, I don't have really any effort tied up in it or any labor other than lifting out of the soil and putting it in a pot. I've got tons of pots around here. I'll be able to share, you know, some of these with other people. There's definitely stuff here other people are going to like and enjoy. And if I can just freely give it away as it freely showed up on my property, that's going to be a big blessing to them. And then, like I said, it cuts down on what I needed to plant too. I don't ever intend on planting Malabar spinach again. I plan on having it hopefully show up every year, feed us all summer long, put up some in the freezer for winter, and then be able just to bless a lot of other people with some too, for anyone who might be interested in that. So I love it when a plant volunteers. I love it when my amount of time, labor, energy can be, you know, just decreased that much. And as I look around, even like this, you know, that sunflower is going to be blooming soon. We'll have sunflower seeds to eat. The birds here will have sunflower seeds to eat. Other things, man, it's fantastic to me. If you look behind me here, we'll talk more about that in the seed video, but that's just all radish flowers. Right, they're just going to seed, doing their thing, and we'll be able to hopefully never need to buy radish seeds again. So that's just a little bit of what's going on in our garden. I've got my work cut out for me. I've got to get mulching a whole bunch of this, and then I've got to get saving some seeds myself from these peas and other guys. But like I said, guys, do what you can, grow what you can, allow your plants even to reach full maturity, at least some of them. Start saving your own seeds, and as you do, you'll probably see an amount of this stuff showing up too, where all of a sudden you've got free plants you never planned on having. And if you don't have a use for them, honestly, search around for others. Maybe they can receive that blessing that you were just looking to get rid of. I'll talk to you next time. Papa out. So Monster Truck is here with the smallest speckled king snake we've ever found. Really a beautiful creature. And where are we going to let that go?
In the garden.
In our garden. That'll be part of our organic pest control posse, huh? Look at that, son. They got such crazy cool colors. What an incredible snake. Why don't you let it go in that Malabar spinach behind you? If you know good snakes from bad snakes, or what people would call good snakes from what people would call bad snakes, you'll find there may be purposes on your property for some of the good ones. Did it go into the big rock or did it go up in the stuff?
It just went under.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, son.